Hi, my name is Jane Hampton Cook, and I want to give you the real story behind the first American Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party. It was November 29, 1773. 3 ships arrived carrying tea from England. And when this happened, the tempers boiled over among the Boston merchants. They were so angry because they were upset about the tea tax. They weren't so much mad about the tax itself. It was really pretty cheap. It was just 3 pennies per pound. But they saw that the tax gave an unfair advantage to their London counterparts. Because in London, there was a surplus of tea, and the London merchants could much more easily absorb that tax than the Boston tea merchants. So handbills went up all throughout Boston, posters that said, "Friends, countrymen." There was a rallying cry. And on December 16, 1773, 5,000 people gathered at the Old South Meeting House to await word from the governor of Massachusetts, because there had been a petition sent to him requesting that those 3 ships carrying London tea be sent back to England. And they waited, and sure enough, the decision came back from the governor that, hey, those ships, they could stay, and then they could unload their cargo and put them into the marketplace. Well, the shouts rang out. You could hear it all throughout Boston. People were unhappy about that decision. So sure enough, later that night, 200 people dressed as Indians boarded those 3 ships. They took axes and hatchets and they smashed those barrels of tea and dumped them into the harbor. So tea definitely stained Boston Harbor that night. But the aftertaste was far more significant than the actual Boston Tea Party itself. Because King George III, when he learned about the Boston Tea Party, he was so angry, he revoked the Charter of Massachusetts. Think about that. He took away their constitution, their right to govern themselves. Not only that, he sent 3,000 troops, soldiers, to occupy Boston. So the people of Boston were now under martial law. This sent the rallying cry of friends and countrymen throughout the colonies. And they decided to create the Continental Congress as a result, and that each of the colonies sent delegates to the Continental Congress, which met for the first time in 1774, just months after the Boston Tea Party. So that is the real story behind the first American Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party. And you can learn more about that story in my book, Stories of Faith and Courage from the Revolutionary War. Again, my name is Jane Hampton Cook, and my website is janecook.com. Thanks for your time today.